Alrighty. So before we get going today, just as an FYI, today we're going to be in both your note packet and your homework packet. Okay, just so you are aware. Also, new semester, new grading mods potentially for you because I only have like 5 of you left over. Yeah, no, 6 of you that rolled over. 6 of the 8 rolled over in this class. So, yeah, okay, but that's fine. So these are your grading mods. Okay, so for you guys, it's 19 through 21, and Lynn's is your grading teacher now. Okay, just so you are aware. Okay. What I want to do before we start, though, is I just want to remind you of our Canvas page. So when you click on Math 1 on your dashboard on the Canvas, it should be labeled as Math 1 Semester 2. Okay? So when you click on that, that takes you to, here's our home page, and the current unit is in orange. Both of these are links that will take you to the Unit 5 page, if you just click on one of them. And then if you scroll down, way down here at the bottom is everything that you need if you're going to be gone, okay? Or if you were gone, or if you missed something, or if you needed to write something down, okay? So in here, you've got a blank copy of the notes from that particular day. You've got a filled-in copy of the notes, meaning that I print out or I just send as a PDF my screen from the notebook that I use. Okay? So I send that in and I post that online so you can have all of the notes and things that we talked about in class that day if you missed it. Along with that, you guys have seen me, like right now I'm recording this class. There's a video that will take you, if you click on this link, it's a video that takes you to my YouTube page, which has all of the videos from all of this year on it. Okay? But there's just a link that will take you just to this video for today. Okay? Then it also down here has what pages your homework is on, and it has a blank copy if you lose yours, and it also has an answer key. And now the answer key is just answers, which is why after today, when I stamp stuff, you have to show work. Because if you just put answers, I'm going to assume that you just straight up copied it off of this. Okay? So I am a show work kind of a person, and the answer key doesn't have any work shown on it. Okay? Okay? So you just need to show all your work for that and do things that way. Okay? Just wanted to refresh your memory on that, or even just introduce you to that because you might not have known that that was there. Okay? Next thing I want to talk about is we have updated the size calendar over here. You will have a quiz tomorrow on Unit 5 up to this point in time. That will include some things from per semester, from the first part of Unit 5. Okay? Because we just use it, and we're going to use it almost every day here in Unit 5. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. Okay? 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 So I wanted to make you aware of that. It looks like we're going to have a quiz the next 3 weeks, which is just fine. Works for me. Okay? So we are in your note packet. If you had me yesterday, you've got some of this written down already. If you didn't have me yesterday, you should write it down because not everybody got to this point in time yesterday. So there are 3 different forms of linear equations and linear inequalities. Okay? The first form is standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. Okay? Standard form has x and y on the same side. Okay? And if you don't want to solve that equation for y, what we recommend is to graph this line. You would plot the points 0, comma something, so you'd plug in 0 for x and get the y-intercept, and something, comma 0. You plug in 0 for y and get the x-intercept. And then you can draw your line based off of those 2 points. Okay? The slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b, and there you would graph the point zero comma b, or the y-intercept is just b. If it's like plus 7, you would go up 7, and you would put a dot. If it's negative 2, you would go down 2 from the origin and put a dot. Okay? And then you're going to use that the slope is the rise over the run, and you're going to get more points so that you can draw your line on your graph. Okay? Point slope form is that goofy one, y equals y sub 1 plus m times the quantity x minus x sub 1, where you're going to graph the point x sub 1 comma y sub 1. The kicker with that is that they're in reverse order, and x sub 1 is inside a set of parentheses, so you need to think opposite of that. Okay? So if it looks like minus 4, if it's x minus 4 in that parentheses, the x part of your point is positive 4. We think oppositely there. We'll do a problem like that here momentarily. Okay? Right? But I wanted to show that to you right now. A little bit later on today, we're going to be graphing inequalities. Okay? And when we are graphing those inequalities, if we don't have the equal sign, so if we just have less than or greater than, the line that we draw on our paper is going to be dashed. Okay? It's not going to be solid, it's going to be dashed. If it has the equals part, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, then those are solid lines, and we draw those in nice and like normal. Okay? A little bit later on today too, and tonight in your homework, you're going to be having to come up with an inequality. Okay? And so we gave you here some words that go along with each inequality symbol. Okay? So if you wanted to take some time right now to write these down underneath vocabulary there on that page, that would be awesome, because that would help you in your writing of the inequalities. They're here and they're on the front board also. So if you want to take some time right now to write down the greater than and less thans, after you get done with those, then I'll scroll down a little bit more and get the greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. Here then are your greater than or equal to, less than or equal to words. Again, they're also, the majority of them are on the front board if you need to if you didn't get them all. Next thing I want to talk about a couple of different things in terms of the homework. Okay? And so if we jump into your homework packet then, if we're looking at, let's do together number 10, because that's a goofy point slope form type 1. Okay? So, in terms of, this one is in point slope form, so we first need to identify the point that it goes through. So I'm looking, here is my y sub 1, here is my x sub 1, but as I just said to you a couple of slides ago, we think, how do we think about x sub 1? Oppositely, right? So to me, I see negative 5 there. Do you agree? Okay, so I would think oppositely just on x. So the point that this one's going to go through is going to be 5, 2. I just think oppositely on x. Okay, so that one went through the point 5, 2. So we plot the point 5, 2. That start at the origin. 5 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 up. And so we put our dot right there. Okay. What is the slope then of this line? Whoa. What is the slope of this line? 2. Okay. So if my slope is 2, I need 2 directions and 2 numbers to plot my next point. Up 2 and right 1. Just remember, when you're talking with me, over is not a direction. Okay? Left and right are directions. Up and down are directions. Okay? Over, I don't know which way over is. Okay? So you said up 2, right 1. And I can continue that pattern on and on and on. What if I didn't want to go up and to the right? Down 2 and to the left, 1. Yep, down 2 and left 1. Now, for those of you that are brand new to the world of graphing with P. Linzmeyer, that's me, okay, I got a couple of simple rules about it. We're going to quiz the people that had me last semester on those rules. Rule number 1, graphing with Linzmeyer. Graphing a line with Linzmeyer. Use something straight. Okay? Take pride in your work and use something straight. Now, not everybody might not have, or everybody might not have a ruler. I understand. I get it. What are some other things that we have that are straight? ID card. Your ID card is phenomenal. Probably the best thing that you have because, one, you have to have it with you. Okay? And so it's always with you, and that's a good thing to use. Or a debit card, or a credit card, or a license, or, library card, etc. Whatever. Okay? Some kind of those, these kind of cards. Okay? Right? That works. And what else? An extra pencil would. Yep, exactly. Well, still looking for something straight. We'll get to that one in a minute. I'll come back to that one. Okay? What else would be straight? Most of you have it in front of you. You just don't even know it yet. A book. Yep, you could use a binder, or you could use because you're doing it in your homework. You could use your note packet as your straight edge. Okay? Okay? So lots of things that you have around you that you can use to make your line be straight. Okay? Second rule. We got to put arrowheads on the end of our lines, right? Right? What do those signify, by the way? It goes on forever in both of those directions, right? Okay. Those arrowheads should be off of your grid. So what I mean by that is, here's your line. You want those arrowheads to be outside of the grid. You don't want them in the grid. I don't want a line that looks like this. Whoops, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want a line. Now I gotta get a solid line again. I don't want a line that looks like that. Okay? I don't want just a little nub of a line. I want that line to go all the way across your graph. Okay? Right? Now, one last question for the people that had me first semester. Do I take points off for that? Or do I not stamp homework for not having those things done? Very much so. Very much do I not allow that in my world. Okay? Good to go on that one? Yeah? Love it. Okay? Last class had a question about number 16. So I'm going to do number 16 with you guys too, just so that we can go over that one too. Okay? On all of these from, must have been 13 to 16, okay, you were asked to shade the side of the line that was working. So you've got to pick a point. So I'm going to pick on this side of the line. I would, if your line doesn't go through the origin, pick the origin for sure. Oops, I picked the wrong color for that one. Okay? For sure, you're going to pick the origin. Okay? And then you're going to plug the x in, or 0 in for x, and the 0 and the y in for 0 in for y. Okay? And so in this case, I only got y to plug in for. So I've got 0 here is greater than or equal to negative 6. Is that a true statement or is that a false statement? That's a true statement. Okay, 0 is bigger than a negative number. So that means that I would want to shade on that side of the line. What on these problems it was asking you to do, it was asking you to also pick another point on the other side of the line. So in this case, I would pick the point like 0, negative 9. Could be anything. Truthfully, let's get off the 0 here for a second. Let's go, just because I want to show you, let's go here. Let's go, so that would be 8, negative 9. And when I plug that in, I would plug in 8 for x and negative 9 for y. Again, there's no x to plug in for, so I don't have to worry about that. So this would just be negative 9 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Is that a true or a false statement? That is a false statement because negative 9 is actually smaller than negative 6, not bigger. So it was asking you then to shade this side I wanted to still show my work, that's why. Whoa. There, I wanted to see. Origin. Okay. Handle? Love it. Okay. Fast forward now to tonight's homework. I want to do 2 problems from your homework for tonight. The first problem that I would like to do from your homework tonight would be number 5. Number 5 says Alex has $12 saved. He spends X dollars on snacks and still needs at least $5 left to buy a game later. Write and solve an inequality to show how much Alex can spend. So we have 2 things that we have to do here. The first thing is we have to write an inequality. Okay? So he has $12 saved and he spends X dollars. Is that adding to his money or is that taking away from his money? That's taking away. He's spending that money, it's going away. So this would be 12 minus X would be him spending the money. Okay? Then it goes on to say he still needs at least $5. So he needs to have $5 and he needs at least $5. So if I'm looking here, at least is in my less than or equal to column. With me? Okay? So he wants the money in his pocket, which is the 12 minus X, that's the money that's in his pocket, to be at least $5. With me on that so far. Okay? So we've written it. Now we need to solve it. How would you go about solving 12 minus X is greater than or equal to 5? Subtract 12 on both sides. Love it. That's going to give me negative X is greater than or equal to negative 7. Next. Or, well, you're right. You're totally right. We could multiply both sides by negative 1, or we could do what? Divide by negative 1. Yep, same thing. Yep, exactly the same thing. So if we want to multiply here by negative 1, alarm bells should be going off in your head because why?
When you multiply or divide by a negative,
You got to flip the sign. So this it would be X on this side, and it would flip to $7. So he can spend up to $7 and still get his game. Understand? And both of those then would be the answers to that. Okay? On the next page, we've got 6 different inequality graphs. Okay? So I'm going to do number 9 with you together, and then once we're done with that one, then you can have the rest of the time to work on homework. Okay? All right? So in my brain, I'm seeing this and I'm thinking of this as y equals negative x plus 1. That's what's going on in my brain. Okay? Yes, it's an inequality. That just means we have dashed or potentially solid lines, and we have some shading. Okay? So, but in my brain, I'm thinking I got to get that line on my paper as y equals negative x plus 1. If my line is y equals negative x plus 1, what is my y-intercept? 1. So that means I'm going to go up 1 from the origin, and right there put a dot. What is the slope of that line? Negative 1 over 1. So give me 2 directions and 2 numbers. Down 1 and right 1. And keep going. Is that what you were going to say? Yep. Down 1 and right 1, down 1 and right 1, down 1 and right 1. So many. If I didn't want to go down and right, what's my other option? Look. Up and left. Yep. I can go up 1 and left 1. Now, before I draw my line in, what kind of line am I going to be drawing? And don't say straight, because all lines are straight. I'm going to draw a dashed line because it's an inequality and it's a less than. Excuse me, it's a greater than. But it doesn't have the equals part. So I'm going to draw in a dashed line. So that's going to be the hardest part for you. It is every year, even for my pre-calc kids. This is still hard on them because they just want to draw the line in. They forget that it's got to be dashed. So then they got to go back and then they got to use their eraser and they got to erase parts of the line. Okay? All right? So there we go. We're set to go. Now we need to pick a test point, okay? And let's make it easy on ourselves. Honestly, truthfully, be honest, make it easy on yourself. Don't need to work harder, work smarter. Okay? Easiest test point to choose is the origin. Okay? 0, 0, easiest one to choose. Okay? And the reason it's easy is because it's got zeros for both x and y, so x and y won't go away. Okay? But if your line goes through the origin, you can't test it. You got to do another one. So we're actually going to do 2 test points here. So my first test point is going to be the origin, 0, 0. Okay? So I'm going to put in 0 for y. I'm going to put in 0 for x, and I'm going to just do that math. Negative of 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Is 0 bigger than 1? No, that's false. So I don't shade on that side. I would shade on the other side, but let's test a point over there just to make sure. Again, let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go with the point 0, 6. Okay? If I have the point 0, 6, then that would be 6 is greater than negative 0 plus 1. Negative of 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Is 6 greater than 1? Yeah, so that gives me my true statement there. So then that just reaffirms that I need to shade on this side of the line. Okay? You have the rest of the time now to be working on last night's homework, tonight's homework. If you have them done and want to get them stamped, we can stamp them, all that fun stuff. Again, I remind you, Lynn's 19 through 21, bless you, are your